quest to take a good free-range red stag with the bow on film became a part of me in February 2016. It was indeed a challenge, one where I fell short that year. I wasn't looking for a record book entry, as that wasn't a priority. I'd be satisfied with a good representative, and my goal would be to take it fair chase, spot and stalk, with an honest shot. 2017 came around quickly. It had been extremely hot in early February. Spot and stalk hunts were demanding and taxing. I found a small bachelor group of stags but couldn't seem to close the gap. Early afternoon they would head off down valley. My plan was to intercept them. The attractant in the afternoon heat was water. I found their wallow, which proved to be a deer magnet. I would stalk down and set up underneath a puriri tree 40 yards from the wallow, its meagre shade giving me the only respite from the harsh summer sun. Red hinds were our first visitors. It was a real pleasure being this distance from these animals, no question. The first stag to come in was a nice young 3-year-old, too young to kill but full of potential. Other stags would follow, but I would let them walk. My second session at the wallow, I waited until 6 PM to see the first animal, a spiker whom appeared from nowhere. Minutes later he appeared, driven by thirst. At a glance he was good enough. Age and generous antler, my decision would be easy. There were other stags, all now visible but not committed to my range.
I would have liked to have seen half that arrow disappear at this distance. That was a 45-yard shot, an honest 45 yards. Man.
The shot wasn't good enough and I was bitterly disappointed. Make no mistake, I was real frustrated. I felt as though the shot had been fairly honest, but the way the arrow landed, and upon looking at the replay of the shot time and time again, the arrow landed as the stag jumped the string. It appeared to skid off a rib bone and there was no penetration. I found the arrow 30 yards from the impact zone and it was easy to see that there'd been a failure, and I was gutted, and all those emotions that go through you were hitting me quite hard right then, that's for sure. You have to excuse me from probably getting a little bit sensationalised on this run of events. In fact, cut that music. There we go. Looking for that animal. The following day we spent nearly 6 hours, 2 of us, and my suspicions were confirmed as that this animal was very much alive and kicking. What had happened to him could be described as being a stinger, and it could be compared to one of us going to the doctor and getting an injection in the arm. Certainly no more pain than that. They're tough, they're resilient. Red deer, like most other deer species, have an ability to clot blood like no other animal. They have to be tough, they have to be resilient. They smash each other with their antlers during the rut, and it's not uncommon to find a stag taken off this property during the raw period that has holes in him from his rival's antlers. I did hope that one day, and I know this sounds corny, one day that stag and I would meet again, that one day our paths would cross. So I'm out on the property 7 weeks later, almost to the day. I was 4 miles from when last seen a certain stag fleeing the scene at Misery Wallow, and boom, there's a stag that looks awfully familiar. At first I saw him and it was kind of hard to judge because he was sitting in some rush bushes roaring, but I was able to drop down and get to about 65 or 70 yards from this animal, and it was definitely him. Not only was this stag fit and able, he was guarding his harem with his life. He was chasing other stags away, and if you look very closely here, you'll see a very faint scar right where that arrow hit him. He's perfectly healed, he's perfectly fit and healthy, and I could not have been happier. One thing I've learned from bow hunting is that I don't like to quit. Just 10 days after the debacle at Misery Wallow, we'd head back for some more Code Red, and this time I had nothing to lose.
On February the 11th we had a cool front move through. It was a great excuse for a walk with the bow. Stags were on their feet early afternoon. We decided to try stalking an animal we had seen skirting the willows. At first we didn't see him, but then he appeared from nowhere.
god, look at this drop. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on his right hand. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 points. Look at this crazy stuff. 18 points of free range wild red stag. Man, am I lucky. I am so incredibly lucky.
Sometimes a sublime elation gives way to respect and sadness. Right now, I'm giving thanks to blood, sweat, and tears of joy.